Jean Grey is not just one of the most powerful mutants in the Marvel Universe. Above all, she is one of the most tragic, complex, and misunderstood characters in comics. Before talking about power, before talking about the Phoenix Force, before talking about cosmic destruction, we need to talk about trauma. Because Jean Grey is not born a myth. She is forged through pain. Zay, in the area, welcome to the Nerdverse. Leave a like right now, because it really helps the channel keep bringing deep analyses like this. Subscribe and share with that X-Men fan friend, because today I'm going to tell you 10 facts about Jean Grey's story marked by death, rebirth, love, guilt, and an uncomfortable question. How much power can someone carry without losing themselves? Jean Grey was just a child when it all began. The daughter of Elaine Grey and Professor John Grey. She lived a normal life until the age of 10, in a moment that would change everything. Jean witnesses her best friend, Annie Richardson, being run over by a car. But the true horror wasn't just seeing death. The extreme emotional shock awakened her latent telepathic powers, connecting her mind to her friends at the exact instant of death. Jean felt everything, the fear, the pain, the despair. This event didn't just activate her powers, it shattered her mind. From that point on, Jean becomes withdrawn, depressed, and isolated, unable to control the voices and thoughts of others invading her consciousness. This is the first essential point of the character. Jean Grey doesn't go mad because of power. She carries power because she survived a profound trauma. Months later, a psychiatrist recommends something unusual to Jean's parents. Seek out Charles Xavier, a man who, secretly, is also a telepathic mutant. Xavier immediately recognizes the girl's frightening potential, but makes a controversial decision. He reveals the truth only to Jean, not to her parents, to protect her. Xavier erects psychic blocks in her mind, suppressing her deepest telepathic abilities until she has the emotional maturity to handle them. In return, he stimulates another gift, telekinesis. Jean learns to levitate objects, manipulate matter, and shape the world with her mind. Under Xavier's tutelage, she helps calibrate Cerebro and makes psychic contact with Scott Summers for the first time. Years later, Recovet, Jean joins Xavier's school for gifted youngsters. And there, without knowing it, a legend begins to take shape. The school was only behind it existed something greater. The X-Men, a team created to protect a world that feared and hated them. Jean joins Cyclops, Iceman, Angel, and Beast. Adopting the codename Marvel Girl, she faces Magneto, the Brotherhood of Mutants, and the constant threats born of human prejudice. Early on, she suffers harassment from her own teammates, direct reflection of the era in which the character was created, but over time the group becomes a family. Intense training, deadly missions, and unbreakable bonds unite those young people. It's in this context that the romance between Jean Grey and Scott Summers is born, but Jean's destiny was never simple, because something ancient, cosmic, and hungry was already watching her. During a mission in space, the Phoenix Force awakens a primordial entity tied to life, death, and rebirth in the universe. It senses Géant. It feels her empathy, her pain, and above all, her limitless potential. In a later mission, Jean sacrifices herself to save the X, guiding a spacecraft to safety while her body is consumed by solar radiation. She is dying. That's when the Phoenix answers her desperate call. The entity offers a bargain: save the X-Men and save Jean. The Phoenix assumes her form, memories, and personality while placing Jean's true body in a regenerative cocoon. When the ship crashes in Jamaica Bay, the X-Men see Jean emerge unharmed from the wreck. She is now called Phoenix, but absolute power always demands its price. Manipulated by Mastermind in the Hellfire Club, the Phoenix becomes corrupted. Dark Phoenix emerges a force without limits, without morality, without restraint. She flies through the cosmos and consumes an entire star, exterminating billions of lives on a nearby planet. The Shi'ar Empire demands justice, and the Phoenix's fate is decided in battle, X-Men versus the Imperial Guard. With the moon as the stage, Jean briefly regains control and understands something terrible she will never be able to fully contain the Phoenix's hunger, so she makes the only choice possible. She sacrifices herself. Scott Summers loses the love of his life and leaves the X-Men, but as always with Jean Grey, death is not the end. Months later, the cocoon is found at the bottom of the ocean. Xavier is alive, without memories of the Phoenix, without telepathy, but with even more powerful telekinesis. Upon returning, She finds a worse world, growing hatred against mutants and the X-Men working alongside Magneto. Disillusioned, Jean reunites the 5 original members and founds X-Factor, a team that pretended to hunt mutants while actually rescuing and training them. Once again, Jean tries to fix a broken world, but the past insists on returning. While Jean was presumed dead, a genetic clone existed, Madelyne Pryor, created by Mr. Sinister, abandoned, powerless, but destined for tragedy. She marries Scott Summers and has a child. A rejected spark of the Phoenix Force bonds with her, granting fragmented memories and vital energy. Madelyne becomes the Goblin Queen, consumed by hatred and pain. Jean is forced to confront her and, upon defeating her, absorbs her memories, personalities, and suffering. Jean Grey now carries multiple lives within herself. During Grant Morrison's run, Jean faces Zorn, who poses as Magneto. She and Wolverine are hurled toward the sun. To spare her a slow death, Logan tries to kill her, but instead reawakens the Phoenix Force. Jean returns to Earth, but Zorn kills her with an electromagnetic pulse. Before dying, she says goodbye to Scott and asks him to be happy with Emma Frost asylum. Devastating and final farewell. Or almost. The Phoenix Force, unable to accept the loss, resurrects Jean in a perfect reality and illusion built to convince her to return. But Jean sees through the lie. She chooses to live with pain, loss, and imperfection rather than artificial happiness. Jean Grey renounces the Phoenix once and for all. At last, she chooses to be human. In current comics, something changes completely. She and Scott Summers, Wolverine, and Emma Frost seem to live in an open relationship, free of rivalry and guilt. The Summers family even lives in a house on the moon, with interconnected rooms that say more than any dialogue. Jean Grey is no longer anyone's possession. She owns herself, her desire, and her destiny. Jean Grey is not a villain. She is not a perfect heroine. She is a woman trying to survive a power that no one should have to carry alone. If this video made you see Jean Grey in a different light, leave a like. It really helps the channel. Share it with anyone who loves the X-Men, subscribe so you don't miss the next videos, and comment below. Is Jean Grey a heroine or a tragedy foretold? See you in the next video.